Vietnam, the American soldier was superb. You probably heard a lot of bad things, and there were bad things. Narcotics users were just out of control. But my men that I had in Vietnam, you couldn't ask for better people. Good people. They never complained.
They stack up pretty well with the people you had in 44,
Sure,
45?
Sure. Same stock. They would work 18 hours a day, no complaints. My people were ordnance technicians. I'd fly with them 3 and 4 times a week out to the forward sites. Good young men. Couldn't ask for better. I think this dope business is a weakness in the person, maybe lack of training at home, lack of discipline, and it destroys their mind, just destroys them. A person under the influence of narcotics isn't himself. I've seen it happen. It's tragedy. But the key to getting rid of this narcotics business is to have people stop using it. If nobody used it, wouldn't anybody smuggle it?
Different thing, I guess, if I was thinking back just in some of the things I heard downstairs this morning, talking about liberating wine cellars and one thing and another, having cognac on the back of the half track and stuff. But it sounds as though people would get liquored up some, and then it'd pass, and that would be all there would be to it.
Not much, though. To get back to that business there, I was in on that. There was a large liquor warehouse in Seehausen, Germany. Well, the 2nd Armored Division, some of their personnel captured it. Well, we pulled into that town as sometimes orders were conflicting. Like one time there was a certain town we were supposed to attack. We came in cautious and ready, every gun half loaded, everything ready. My God, there sat guys on the front steps of places, some guy drinking a beer in front of a tavern. And said, what in the world's going on here? He said, that's what we thought. We got here and some other outfit was here. So we were the 3rd one to take the place, but there wasn't any taken. So anyway, this liquor warehouse business came up. And there Bill Schmidt came. He says, come on, Al, let's go. I said, where are you going? He said, we got to find a trailer. Hell, I don't know what we're going to do here. I didn't know what was going on. He said, there's a liquor warehouse down there. We got to get something. Oh, okay. So we went up the street, looked in the courtyard, and there was a 1.5-ton trailer that belonged to the 405th Field Artillery. And there was 2 or 3 shells left in the back. And they said, this is good enough. He'll probably tell you about it. So that old Bill grabbed those shells and threw them over the fence. There's 105 millimeter shells. Of course, they were not armed, but they looked deadly. They were. Threw them over the fence and hooked the trailer onto our half track, and off we went for the liquor warehouse. Well, by then the guards from the 2nd Armored, they were drunk, so they were past carrying or resisting. So we loaded that trailer with different kinds of booze, whiskey, American whiskey, English, Scotch, and Grand Marnier. One of the most delightful drinks there is, yeah. And good cognac, good Remy Martin, and Cavossier, and Hennessy, and we'd fill in the cracks with wine or champagne, but mostly hard stuff. We hauled that load of booze out there, and it lasted us a long time. We had to guard it like you'd guard a bunch of young ladies in a Cossack army. But I had never had Cointreau in my life. I'd never had much of anything. Right? But we're going down the road that early evening in March formation, combat formation. Old Geithner, my assistant driver from Milwaukee, wonderful lad. He said, Al, you ever had Cointreau? And I said, no, what is it? He said, I don't know. He said, it says the orange bitters and champagne cognac. I said, well, gosh, that'd be good. It sounds good. I thought it was like an orange soda. So he pulled out the cork and handed it over to me, and I took more than I should have slug. Oh my gosh, that was good. He took a big slug, handed it up to Bill Schmidt, and passed it out in the back of the half track. They all had a slug. Came back up to me. I didn't want any more. On an empty stomach, you know, it gets with you in a hurry. But that was a funny incident. A lot of the guys could talk about that. Most everyone here knows about it. But that's there are a lot of things I can't recall.
One of the things that Bill Wheeler remembers only very fuzzily is when he came down off that ridge in Nennick, and he said he was in pretty bad shape by then. He was real cold, and had been.
He was partly frozen, I think, his feet, I believe, but I can't remember.
He said he barely remembered you and you sort of picking him up and taking him.
Well, whatever help he needed, he got. But I remember vaguely, and I'd completely forgotten about it until he told me 3 years ago.
He remembers that he's still got a pretty good memory of it, although it's the details are fuzzy, but he feels that you did him a real service then.
I hope I did.
No question about that. He said he was just sitting there and he just didn't have the energy anymore. We talk about hypothermia a lot these days, but plainly that's what happened. That was what was happening to him. He was losing it.
Long-time friend.
Yeah, you came together down at Fort Polk.
Oh yes, we were together there. And, we were in it from start to finish with our unit. You know, when I came back from Vietnam the last time, I was assigned to Fort Hood, and I'd been in up in the Central Highlands and Playcool, and it wasn't a pleasant assignment. And I got back to Fort Hood. I had no sooner got there than my father passed away, so I flew home to Vermont to his funeral and then back to Hood. Was a shop officer in an ordnance company, and it was a busy time, but discipline had changed, so many things had changed. It was just hard for me to understand, and hard for me to. I just found it difficult to change, where people were beginning to wear their hair untidy, and their uniforms didn't look as they should, and privates were allowed to live off post, and these things, all these breaches of discipline that to me they were outright contrary to what a military establishment should be. I was in trouble a great deal with people upstairs, because I say a great deal. I'd have to report to senior commanders because I had disciplined people, moved these young fellows back on post where they belonged, caused them to stand reverently in formations, and have their clothes neat, and
turning them into soldiers.
Well, trying to make them proud of themselves and do their job right. And I had some unruly ones. My commanding officer would call me and say, "You have some people in your shops that need haircuts." And I told him I understood that, and I assured him that it would be taken care of. And I reminded him that was a housekeeping duty, not the shop officers. I had over 300 men in those shops, all technical personnel. I hardly had time to take care of their housekeeping housekeeping activities. But I had a tough sergeant who just loved to handle that kind of thing, from Jenkins, Kentucky. And I told him to go around, find everyone who needed a haircut, march them to the barber shop and get their haircut.